Good evening, Speed Gaming 2, and welcome to the Link's Best Randomizer Tournament. We have a Group R match here featuring Quizbowl and DSpags, and I will be solo commentating here as Wolfling0370. And this is going to be Logical Enemizer, a mode I actually have not seen before, but this should be fun all the same. So what is it? Well, it's simply put, the enemies are going to be shuffled amongst each other. They're going to be shuffled all over the place. There could be Lionels on Eastern Palace Path. There could be other things. What's most important, though, is that the bosses are shuffled, and this is a logical placement, which means we can have dead rocks, gorillas, things that normally require items like the magic powder or the bow in kill rooms, which means we logically need those items in order to get past. So a little extra wrinkle added in for good measure. Other than that, though, this is just a standard 7-7 goal. So they need to get all 7 crystals, defeat Ganon at Aga 2, and then finish the seed. Looks like... Huh. Alright, there we go. Took a little bit. Tanner has to start us off in Link's house, and we're immediately seeing a save and quit. And Sanctuary just has a map. And we see that it is a 3 crystal light world, it looks like. A momentary pause while we sync things up here for you guys. Well, that pitch is kind of convenient, because that can be turned into the bottle merger for quite a few things. Gonna check what's in the ledge right here. Let's go ahead and see what that is. It's just a red rupee, so we don't need to do that for Aghanim. Or rather, we don't need to do Aghanim for that. It's nice that the, I forgot their name. There's a lot of weird enemy names. Oh, we got some gorillas in the overworld. Alright, cool. Buff Runner's gonna get their set of 3 bombs. And the Ether Medallion. Pretty good find, all things considered. No sort of use it with just yet, but we'll get to that eventually. No rupees, though, in this early game, which is kind of annoying. Has this as a 0 right there. Ooh. Spags taking a big hit there. Alright, what do we got here in Thieves' Hideout? Ice Rod. Good. We don't know how many Trinus we have to fight. The Flute. Really good find. That is a pretty great start. And the Hookshot? Okay, that is... delicious start in Kakariko right there. But yes, in addition to the enemies being shoveled, the bosses are also shoveled in this mode. And we have any number of them as we get a sword there. Nice and early. And there's our merchant money. Yeah, Kakariko just getting our runners geared up pretty nicely here. Well, we get that flute online here. I stand corrected. DSpags is going to continue on doing checks. Not the worst chicken hut, by the way. They could have been a lot worse. Could have been a bunch of red guards. Or Lionels. Lionels would have been just as bad. And a glove as well. Wow. Library only has a heart piece for us today. And racing is something important. Quizbowl is going to warp over to 7. Makes sense. Okay, just a random fairy. Don't think I've seen that before. I guess the other enemy there must have been a Stalfos. Bag's taking a little bit of a detour here, heading over to Gina's cave. Not a bad play when you have early flute. Oh my goodness. That mini Molder cave is so annoying. It's 4 zeros. Who's going to leave that behind? I completely understand that. That's dangerous. Oh boy. Alright, well, a lot of fireballs, but thankfully not a lot of enemies in the back of Hyrule Castle. And gets the Titan's Mitts, the small key to this dungeon, and 3 bombs. Alright, move further away from Darkwold access. Ironically, I think zeros can be frozen. It's been a while, though. Just seeing random fairies flying around is kind of funny. Although I wonder if that means that if fairies in the overworld are actually enemies. Ah, Ether will freeze zeros. Okay. Yeah, I don't usually interact with zeros because they're just annoying enemies. But DSpags should be able to handle them, and there's Bombos. Maybe the purple zero doesn't attack, it just flies around aimlessly. Ooh, we got a Hinox, and a red potion, and a heart container. And one of these bomb slicers are actually one of the annoying ones. Oh, jeez. Well, here's a good thing about Hinoxes. They don't like dying to... They don't like explosions. That's a nice and easy insta-kill there. Sick Kid only has more explosives. Wow. And Spags is flying away over to the mountain? And our guard is an Octorok. Oh, and a cannon guard over there for DSpags side. That is an unused enemy that the Enemizer brings into play. $20 rupees on Spectacle Rock. Quizbowl about to discover his Titan's Mitts. And there's Zora money if Spags chooses to go get it. Looking like that's a no, and I can understand that. Alright, Titan's Mitts in hand now for Quizbowl. Let's see what Paradise Cave has for us. Even more bombs. Ooh. So we got an Antlion, a Anti-Fairy, and a Gibo, I want to say that's the name of that enemy? And we get a Bug Catching Net, which is not useful in terms of offense, but can be used for support. And we're going to see Sprout here in just a moment. And there's our Moon Pearl. And we're gonna see some look into the Dark World here. Oh, now I remember. Babusu was their name. What was the name? It was Gibo. Alright, Super Bunny Cave's gonna have for us 20 rupees and 50 rupees. Right, they're the enemies that are in Thieves Town. Such a weird enemy. Bookshare Cave. Get a Master Sword there. And there's a third medallion. And there we go, the Hokuboku right here. This is kind of an annoying one. Oh, the Cadence of Mario was also there. I just noticed the tracker. Ooh, Red Gorilla right there trying to shoot Quizbowl. Skullwood's Green Pendant. And it looks like we're going to see some Dark World action. $50 rupees in that chest. We're getting our first look into Eastern Palace here, it looks like. Alright. Good amount of divergence going on. Peeking nice and early in the dungeon. And Thieves Town's front half is really annoying sometimes with its enemies. Alright, getting through that pretty painlessly. Spear guards are so annoying sometimes. Oh my goodness, Spags with a huge find there. Getting the hammer in Thieves Town. That means he can bull clear. Well, no, I stand corrected, actually. Normally, he'd be allowed to full clear. But we don't know who the boss is. And in fact, because it's Enemizer, we can go straight to the boss. And it's Argus. We can kill him. Lots of guards hanging out in the Eastern Palace big key chest. Only has the compass, though. And we have Blind in Eastern. So, Blind in Eastern could be easy to do with, could be not. It depends on what the key dropper is here in this dark room. Quizbowl gonna drop down and get some fairies, only to realize there's no fairies. And DSpags is going to go back in and go for the back half of the dungeon. Makes sense to me. Might as well full clear while you're here. Now, in case anyone's not aware, and as a reminder, this is a full boss shuffle, which means all the bosses can be in any dungeon spot with some limitations. Certain bosses are not allowed to show up in specific arenas. For example, the Molder Arena can only have like half the bosses, including Molder himself. But in terms of how many times a boss can show up, there is no limit. Ooh, there's wall masters here in the Hellway. Oh no! Now this normally would be a problem. But thankfully, dead rocks are vulnerable to Quake. And here we go with the blind fight. Unfortunately, blind starts in the most disadvantageous position, so gonna be a tricky fight. Has to dodge carefully. Now, thankfully, the sword does not matter here for the blind fight, but down goes Quizbowl anyway. That is an unfortunate death there. Ooh, that very electrocuting. This is a really rude Mega Spike placement. I just take the death at this point. Yeah, there we go. DSpags taking the death warp. Quizbowl, where are you going next? Looks like he's gonna try his luck with Mini Molder and Cape again. Now, one nicety is that during the Eastern dip at some point, Quizbowl did pick up half magic. And what do we got here? Just 50 rupees. We don't really need that at this point. Yeah, there's a Gibo. So we're gonna see a fake flipper attempt here by Quizbowl. Meanwhile, dig game happening. 5 digs for that lamp. Pro was in Spiral Cave, and I was looking away at the time, but I do believe Quizbowl unfortunately took a death there. Lots of crabs over here in the Zora Fountain area. And a Stalfo's knife for good measure. And a Vanilla River Zora. You gotta love the Enemizer sometimes. It does some weird things. And that was absolutely not worth it. Ooh, we're getting the cave, the hype cave. Oh, there's a Lionel though. Dodge it. There we go. Alright, Quizbowl's back on the mountain. This is where he needs to be. Fire Rod found. Heart Container. Shield. And Magic Powder. So, we're only missing the cape, I want to say, for DSpags. Or not the cape, the bow. And then we have no worries about what boss we're fighting. And yeah, this is going to be a Frog World Tour here, it looks like. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Quizbowl almost getting tackled by that Helmosaur. Or oh yeah, I suppose you don't need the bow for those knights. Although, I would still want to have the bow regardless in case you have a logical kill room on the way to said boss that needs the bow. And bow is just so much faster to killing the Yarmouth Knights anyway. And pot is a crystal, so we do need the bow for that anyway. Sadly, I see that Skull Woods is also a pendant according to Specs Tracker. Taking a depth there to the roller. Could not sneak past. Yeah, with Skull Woods being a pendant, we will not potentially see Helmicopter today, which is my favorite little nuance. We're now going to see the Smith turn in. Catfish well guarded here tonight. 10 rupees for a green potion? That's a steal, honestly. We're gonna see what the magic bat has for us. The change-ups are exceptionally rude here. And you have to be really careful because you can easily get one shot by them. Yeah, Quizbowl is just gonna use Bombos here. I don't blame him. Just get rid of that Hokoboku. And there's Quick now for DSpags. Where was Bombos again? I think that was an Eastern, so... Spags will get that eventually. Quizbowl now finally into the Dark World. Yeah, with the lamp, we're gonna go see to the old man rescue, and this thing was pretty harmless. Okay, I stand corrected. I just saw that fire snake. What? Game, are you kidding me right now? Ladies and gentlemen, we had a vanilla mirror. It's on the old man. Well, that gives Spags access to Hera. Well, at least... No, he had access to Hera before, but now he has it even better. And here we go. Quizbowl taking the death warp there, it looks like. Ooh. Alright, so there's a big key in the basement here in Tower Hera. Oh, we got a random tile pattern. One of the tiles ate one of the barriers. Don't think I've seen that before. Oh, let's see another one. I forgot, and Miser does that. Might have been faster to die on the berry there, but so it goes. Nice setup there. Just losing another death. Say I might have died in one of the traps here in the dungeon. Alright, and what boss can be in the Molder Arena? There's only 5 options here, and today it is... It's a vanilla Moldorm with way too many eyes. I love this little visual glitch. It is 8 eyes. Oh, there we go. Second crystal of the match for DSpags. Ooh, DSpags can get that armor actually as well. There's Ether to enter Turtle Rock, and we have everything we need. Provided there's not a Red Korea in the kill room. DSpags is not going to go in just yet, though, it looks like. Oh, Quizbowl getting bopped by the Hogaboku. Oh, DSpags left this chest behind. Just yeets him into the pit, gets his fire shield, and is now probably going to go get his armor. Having a little trouble getting in the portal. And in we go to Turtle Rock, which is our other 5-6. I actually don't know why Quizbowl's going this way first and not checking the boss, which we know is Argus. And we get a compass. We see a compass check here. We do. It's another blind at the end of Turtle Rock. So, pending no kill rooms, this is a boss that DSpags can beat. Hogaboku jumping on thin air is pretty funny. Okay. I was worried about that bumper for a second there being in a really bad spot, but it was just far enough over. Pretty free room here. We get the big key. Quizbowl down to the Argus fight. And today Lava just has 20 rupees. Quizbowl makes short work of Argus, gets his first crystal of the match. And two Hogabokus in this particular room is kind of funny, not gonna lie. Quick detour to stop in at Mimic Cave to see what we got here. And it's a couple of pickets and a spear guard. And a Dark Octo. Yes, there was always it's set up so that the item will guarantee to be in the second chest. Again, for most of the minigames have been shortened for consistency's sake. For example, the dig game here, you get your item in at minimum 30 digs. Or rather, a maximum 30 digs. Use the correct word, B. Alright. Another spiral bubble. I think that's going to be harmless, given its position. So we only with 3 bombs meanwhile. I'm surprised he tanked that and didn't use his powder. Thought I forgot about it. Gonna open up this place here, and that's a smart move here. This will allow him to have this entrance as his checkpoint if he dies. So, minimize backtracking. That's our third bottle. And a well-timed full heal from that heart piece, honestly. And nothing's stopping him from going to kill blind at this point, so... Another dungeon done. Oh! The Enoch triggered the crystal switch, that's funny. Alright, here we go with the blind fight. And down goes blind here in Turtle Rock, and there's the boots! We're actually gonna be zooming through this seed now. Meyer check, meanwhile, from Quizbowl. I don't think we've seen this yet. And DSpags is going to follow someone to go into Hype Cave. Or Spike Cave, rather. Sorry, I said the wrong one. Taking that red potion that he got earlier. And gets a heart container. We do have a question in chat. Why does Quizbowl look like he's behind? Simply put, he died on East F Mountain and missed his Moon Pearl the first time around. He had to go back and get it after doing a few other things. And deaths in the overworld are pretty common, especially when you're on Green Mail. Looks like Quizbowl's going to be doing Palace of Darkness here. Zaxmio is going to go into the Mire area. And it is quite to enter Misery Mire if we so choose. BK immediately in pod. Oh, this is going to be a mirror into desert play. Gonna Gonna check the checkerboard cape first. Which is smart. There's no guarantee we can reach the boss because there's like 1 or 2 different kill rooms in there. Alright, this normally is bow locked, but we don't have to worry about that in logical randomizer. Instead, we have to worry about mini Helmosaurus and a mini Moldorm. So that's a bomb dropping zero. Get out of here. Ooh! Quizbowl getting hit by the Hokuboku, knocked back into the dead rock, and getting stuck. Could not move. That is just unfortunate. Right, meanwhile, find the compass to desert, and it is another Argus. And Quizbowl's getting a little bit of revenge here, and I don't blame him. It looks like the Lambos have the second item. Or, sorry, I just say the Argus has the second item. And, is that a red Gorilla? That's a red Gorilla. We can't go to... Argus is bow locked here in desert. And now DSpags into pod. So far, no bow in sight. Alright, there's that half magic. Quizbowl into the dark maze now. And there's the mirror shield. And a vulture's in here too somewhere. Oh my goodness, there's a bow. So that will put Spags in go mode when he eventually checks that chest. Because there will be nothing that can logically stop him from reaching any boss. The only logical asterisk is that he needs the flippers to reach ice palace, but that's an easy fake flipper trick. Now we know this is an Argus here, so he's just gonna have to go through the dark rooms here. What enemy has the key? Oh, it's the Geltman. Now, Quizbowl's also in a position where he can just clear all the remaining dungeons. And actually, in fact, is in go mode as well, I just realized. Alright. DSpags into the Eastern Palace blind fight. Shield putting in work there. And Quizbowl's into the Helmets King fight, which is another Argus. That's our third one. Alright, so DSpags is soon to find his bow and be in go mode himself. He's leaving? What? Is he worried he needs the bow? Gonna go check. Okay, he's gonna go check Catfish. Spags still has a bit of time. thankfully. He's got 2 dungeons up on Quizbowl and the boots. My goodness, this catfish is so heavily guarded. Alright, what's here? The shovel! Oh, DSpags hasn't to Zor yet either. Yeah, I think the discovery of a bow kill room has put some fear into DSpags. If Spags is going to go anywhere, it's going to be into ice, I feel, because that is another dungeon you can clear. Potentially. We don't know there's a bow lock here in Ice Palace. Oh, what? Oh, he's turning in the shovel. And doing mirror checks. And then big key to Ice Palace in its vanilla location. Alright. Looks like this will be super fun now from DSpags. Now, there is a second bow out there somewhere, so Spags could find it, and that'll be his first bow. But we don't know where it is. We know one's in the big chest of Palace of Darkness. And Pyramid Fairy just has the Book of Medora. And a bottle with a bee in it. Ooh, timely full magic drop there for Quizbowl. Alright, let's see what's in the Cold Stare Arena. We have not actually seen this, but it doesn't really matter. It's another Moldorm! And this dungeon was logically locked behind Samaria. We have only seen 3 different bosses this entire time, by the way. Blind, Argus, and Moldorm. It's been in those 3 and those 3 only. Can we have a little bit more variety? And no, I am not wishing them to get into a Trinex. Which actually, the only time they're going to get a Trinex is if they have to do Ice Armos, I believe. I could never remember if it was Trinex or Blind that's always prevented her showing up in the Lambo 2 room. I think it's Blind, though, because of how the tiling works. Alright, Quizbowl's gonna have a rematch with Blind and Eastern. And that will tie the game up to 4 crystals apiece. DSpags really needs to go get a bow. And ironically, he was so close and yet so far. Alright, DSpags is going to enter Ice Palace here. We'll be able to fill clear it, thankfully. No, the Antlion forced him out of the fake flipper state. Has to save and quit. Yeah, time for a rematch for Quizbowl. Still no mirror in hand, still no boots. But those are in places that Quizbowl hasn't really thought about going into. And with that, Quizbowl ties things up for a brief moment here. And does have a minor advantage. And Quizbowl floating away 2-1. Gonna get his mirror from the old man. DSpags clearing up Ice Palace here. Quizbowl going to be going to do desert, and this will put him a crystal ahead. And in fact, it's set up to do TR, Hera, GT, so he's in a prime position here. Just gotta find the big key here in Desert Palace, which is pretty quick to find. And that's all he cares about, too. Spags did, in fact, go into pod for about 10 seconds. Chose to leave almost immediately afterwards. And ironically, this is the only bow-locked kill room that we have seen. In every crystal dungeon. Now, we've seen the boss here. We know that it is another Argus here in Desert. And there we go, DSpags with the Ice Palace Crystal here, but Quizbowl's almost immediately going to tie it up here with the Desert Palace Crystal. And have Hera into TR or into GT to do. Or you can do GT, or yeah, TR to Hera to GT. Where's Spags going? Oh, that might look like it's a dip into Skullwoods. Quizbowl going to take a small detour here to buy some potions. And yeah, over to TR and Hera he goes. He might pick up the armor on the way. He knows where some armor is. Ooh, DSpags can grab the Wallmaster. Been unfortunate there. Ooh, double grab for DSpags. All that just for the big key, which we know only has not much in here. And gets it done. Quizbowl is going to look around for a tempered sword and slash or with the silver arrows. Makes sense. But those are probably in GT at this point. And here we go with the vanilla mold arm for Quizbowl. Ooh, DSpags is going to attempt the boss of Skull Woods here. And there we go, crystal number 6 for Quizbowl. Making a commanding comeback here. And Quizbowl just didn't peek the armor there. We'll see if he goes to get it before he enters Turtle Rock. I would not blame him if he does. And we have a cold stare at Skull Woods. I was hoping for Helmasaur King. Still, pretty quick and easy fight here, and we get rewarded with a piece of heart. But the green pendant as well. And yeah, Quizbowl is going to be going to get that armor. Makes a lot of sense here. And DSpags is going to do a mirror check and then do a ped check here. So let's see what we got here on pedestal. It is the magic cape. Okay, haven't seen that one before. Alright, DSpags looking to be doing bumper cave ledge. Just take a peek at that. I think it's only 20 rupees, so Ped is dead. Definitively. It would have been nice to have that for invincibility, but so it goes. We still have the Cannon Burner out there somewhere for our invincibility item. Yeah, DSpags just doing overall checks that Quizbowl already did. And DSpags sees another fight here. And there's the flippers at Graveyard Ledge. So that puts us into a logical go mode without doing the sequence breaks like fake flippers and all that. We know where the bow is, but DSpags just left it behind. And honestly, I don't blame him. Logical randomizer can trip you up like that. Looks like DSpags is going to head back into the pod area, though. Nope, never mind. Made a sharp turn. Gonna do the flippers checks here, it looks like. Alright, what's under the man on the bridge here? Just some more arrows. Taunting DSpags further. I think he realized now that pod can't be bow locked. But he's gonna check the green pennant first. Oh man, the fetch quests continue. There's the mushroom. And that's just for money. He has to know by now. Did you not do Waterfall Fairy? Okay, no, he didn't do this. Because we're going to really quickly check for any sort of extra combat advantage. Does find his fourth bottle. And it looks like DSpags is going to check Bombo's tablet. Alright, Quizbowl is going to be entering his 7th crystal fight here with the blind fight. Alright, folks, and that is blind down, and he finally gets his boost. And folks, with that last crystal acquired for Quizbowl, we have a game we like to play here. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, only one of which can have the big key. Give us a number in chat and tell us where that big key can be as we enter Swamp Palace for DSpags. Oh boy. And let's add a little extra minigame on top of this. What bosses do you think we're going to see in GT? As a reminder, there's some restrictions on what bosses can be where. The Moldrum area specifically is heavily restricted. I think Blind cannot be on the upper floor, so if Blind's anywhere inside GT, he's in the Ice Armo's basement. First chest, small key. Second chest, another small key. Gonna go right to start things off. Yeah, I believe Blind cannot peer in the Lambo 2 room due to the tiling of the rooms. And due to the small arena size, I want to say that Argus, Armos Knights, Lamolas, trying to remember. Oh, there's Silver Arrows. That was, I think someone said 4 for silvers, and I think that was dead on. But yeah, there's only 5 bosses that can be up in the Molder 2 arena. Alright, what do we got here in the Staffhouse Night room? There's our big key. That was number 10. And 65K10 in chat. I got it correct here on Twitch's end. But now let's see the bosses here. So let's ignore Ice Armos, because Ice Armos is never going to be seen. Surprise Trinex! Hello! You do exist! That is a lot of rollers. Yeah, I would prime a blue potion and chug that. Nice double spin there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5. Oh, maybe not. Didn't get the double spin there. But Trinix is down now for DSpags. And unfortunately, we now know, without a doubt, there's only one bow for him to find, and it is in Pod. The other one's here in GT, as we saw earlier. And Quizbowl is just going to not deal with the enemy RNG, just going to use bombos here for just quick clears of the room. And there is a Baboose lurking around. Now, we have a question, chat, why any particular reason DSpags is avoiding pod play. I think it's the psychology thing. So, to explain this to the best of my ability, he went to desert first, saw there was a Bowlock desert, and then saw the big key as the first chest of pod. He was like, okay, this is Bowlock too, so can't do anything there. We have a Trinex! No, that's Helma! No, it is Trinex. Tail confused me there for a second. But yeah, DSpags is got it in his head that pod is Bowlock, which we know it's absolutely not. In fact, it is locking the only bow that is in logic for DSpags. Ooh, Quizbowl getting sniped by Trinex. Does get a gold or red sword out of the chest there, meanwhile, on left side swamp. Oh, but Quizbowl got a fairy. Smart. It's been a little too early there. Cycling over to his hammer. Ooh, okay. Quizbowl, if you have a blue potion, I would drink it now. DSpags is desperately looking for this bow. Yeah, Quizbowl's just gonna not deal with any of this nonsense here. Just gonna bomb-boss his way through the kill rooms. He does have green potions, so he will be able to restock here in just a moment. Getting a little anti-fairy healing. Alright, Quizbowl up to the final floor here. He's looking for that Earth sword that we know... Oh, that we don't know where it is yet. He would ideally like Tempered for the upcoming fight. You have a question, chat. What is finally making like Jesus well locked? As we get a Helmazar King sighting. Hello. The short answer is I don't know. My best guess is that he got spooked by there being a actual Bowlock in Desert Palace, so he got in his head that there might have been more. So he, in other words, basically he might have psyched himself out. This is a very difficult arena fight Helmazar King in, though. It's very narrow. Gonna use bomb strats here to try to chip away the mask. Ooh. Trying to snipe the crystal. Drinks his potion for safety. I don't blame him. There we go. Finally got it done. And one more heart piece to go. So if there is a sword, it is deeper in GT basement. Or it's behind the Ice Armos fight, whatever that may be. So the only boss we're not going to know about is the Ice Armos. Second item out of Meyer, he is bailing. I think he has to realize now his mistake. Nice double, nearly a triple there. DSpags back on the mountain. Gonna go check Ether Tablet. But that is Aga 2 down, and now it is time for Quizbowl to fight the pig. Master Sword in hand, slashes do not work against the pig. He must do spin attacks. It'll be 12 spin attacks to get through the first two phases of the fight each. Afterwards, one spin attack to advance phase 3. Once phase 3 is advanced 4 times, it'll go into phase 4, where he has to spin again. But this time, all he has to do is shoot 4 silver arrows. There's the other piece of armor. Both are on the mountain. Now, I want to say that, yes, Quizbowl is going to go restock on potions real quick just to make sure, absolutely sure he's safe for the fight. Absolutely safe play here. Because a Master Sword silverless this fight is annoying on its own. Thankfully, he does have the silver arrows. So having the magic as a backup is really smart. DSpags going to turn in the purple chest. And there's our last sword. So we know Quizbowl will be silverless or Master Sword only on this fight. Absolutely no reason to dip into the Swamp House. Absolutely no reason to do the purple chest. DSpags finally going back into pod here. He's last locationing this hard. He might get the boat just as the dot done comes in. Alright, Quizbowl now into phase 2 here. Good positioning here to get double spins. We're going to play it safe. Because those fire rats do hurt. They do 3 hearts of damage here, as you clearly saw. And it would have been more if he was on green mail. Yeah, he's going to heal. Just playing it super safe here. Trident's still there, so he's got another fate. He's still got to chip away against phase 2 health. And DSpags said in the potion glitch only to realize there's no... This is... I think he now realizes his mistake. The trident is gone. We're into phase 3. Now the fire bats here are a little tricky to deal with. Gonna heal again for safety. Alright, there we go. Gets the silver. Let's hit in. Alright, here we go. Another spin. Gonna do one hit here. Setting up. He's gonna have to relight the torches one last time. That's like a good position here. Let's play it safe. There we go. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, use your GGs and chats for Quizbowl. Finishing strong here. And Quizbowl finished with a time of 1:39.28. And DSpags, upon seeing that, immediately forfeited from the race, but GG's to him all the same. What a race this was. What a race this was. Let's see if we can get these two in here for an interview. Right, looks like they're both going to be ready for an interview here. Just one moment. And we are now joined by our two runners here. GG's to both of you and putting on a great race here.
GG's. Wow. Yes.
Yeah, that was an amazing comeback, honestly. I thought DSpags was going to win this here.
Yeah, I totally admit I got bailed out so hard by that bow. I went to pod thinking, hey, it's Enemizer. I don't need the bow because there's no mimics, in here that that I've got there's no bow locked side of pod, right? And I get in there and I'm about halfway through and I'm like, oh no, there's the statue in the back. I'm such an idiot. And then I open the big chest. I'm like, I'm such a genius. I'm such a genius.
Yeah. Meanwhile, DSpags was in there just a little bit after you, but he saw that big chest and then the big key and then bolted out of the dungeon, and it ended up would have been a last location for him, unfortunately.
Oh man.
Yeah, the aspect of Enemizer completely left my brain, and I was like, oh, big key here, it's bow locked. I just need bow for go mode. I'm not going to worry about breaking, doing this out of sequence. I'll just go find the bow, and this will be real quick. And then I cleared literally everything else, and I had just gotten back into pod and started clearing that when I last checked what I thought was my last location, and it was another sword, and I was like, where the hell's the bow? And I was like, oh, pod's not bow locked. I'm an idiot. So
yeah, and then, meanwhile I skipped the old man, so when I finally got up there later on, I it was basically mirror go mode for me to get to desert.
I put him off initially, but once I got the lamp, I went back up there. Yeah. I think I went and cleared Hera at that point and Turtle Rock, and I just grabbed him at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Quizbowl, just to put it in perspective, DSpags had that mirror and those boots for about an hour of this race.
Man, that feels bad, especially with those boots being, like, yeah. So the mirror was basically my go mode item. I went in there and I checked the tortured desert, being like, please don't be big key, and it was small key. I was like, all right, please please don't be an item, please be the big key, and it was. So it's like great, and I had put off Hera and Turtle Rock, and so I just go moded. I sort of go moded the dungeon. I still just checked everything because I was Master Sword silverless at that point.
And you were not going to find those other swords. One of them was in Left Side Swamp. The other was in Purple Chest.
Okay, yeah. I guess I could have gone for Purple Chest. I started the sequence, and I didn't follow it up. But
same. Yeah. The Purple Chest was the last thing I checked when I was like, okay, now I have no idea where the bow is. I guess I'm going to go sequence break pod. And as soon as I got in there, I was like, I'm dumb. So, like, I could have checked this a long time ago.
Yeah. So. And then and I'm just I'm all thumbs trying to finish Ganon. I was like, I know I can do Master Sword Silver because the silvers were in GT, right? So I picked those up. I know I can do it when I'm on Blue Mail at this point, right? I mean, you got the floating island Blue Mail. Was Red Mail anywhere?
Yeah, I picked up Red Mail. It was Ether Tablet, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't get Book either. Book would have been my other go mode, right? So.
Yeah, Book was in Pyramid, I think. That's where I got that. Behind the Big Bomb.
Yeah, so like we just completely different places of the world. It was
I checked it all. So I got both items. I
had like no safeties or anything. So like no cape, no cane.
Yeah, cape was on the pad. So so did you ever make it a GT? No.
Okay.
I still like where I was at was just looking for the first bow when I was in pod, so probably would have had it in the very near future, and then would have needed to beat Desert still, and then.
GT was mean in a couple places. There's the right after you open the big key door as you're climbing that area that's normally got all the spikes, and you put the crystal switch down, and then right before the cannonball run. Like all the spikes have been replaced by rollers.
Oh no!
Oh gosh, and so I'm just like, what is this garbage?
So I just wanted to set the stage for you guys here, just to give an idea of just how swingy this race was. DSpags, you were like 4 dungeons up before you did that at Lapse in Judgment with Pod.
Awesome.
Quizbowl, you only had 1, and you died on the way to getting the Moon Pearl, so you actually left that behind for a good.
Yes, I felt so bad about that. I was like so close to it, and then those whiz robes, they do 4 hearts of damage on green mail. It's so ridiculous, and there's 2 of them in that, and I managed to dodge the first one, and then the second one tagged me. I'm like, well, okay, I'll do that later, and I'm like, I knew it was Moon Pearl before I opened the chest. I slashed at it because it's like I know you're important, and then sure enough, Moon Pearl. Oh,
I had some fun deaths early on. Like I got hit by rollers going up, like taking the Smith up to Catfish, and I died there. And then I was in Hookshot Cave real early, and I was trying to get the 4th chest, and there was like the pokey that was bouncing around.
Oh yeah, the pokies and the chain chomps.
And it just like it didn't work out. So I had to event like when I went back up for Hera and Turok, I picked up that chest. I think it was just a shield, but
I mean, Enemizer turns this game into like a Japanese game show. It's like surprise roller.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what was the deaths I had that were really, really painful is I died on the first blind in Eastern, right? I think I was like 2 hits into the 3rd phase and just fireball to the face, but I was doing that on low hearts, and I had a couple other, really painful ones. I think I took one in the mini Moldorm cave because there was all those little bomber guys, that's Enemizer for you.
The pattern they gave me. Yeah, the pattern they gave me in Mini Moldorm was pretty generous with having hookshot. So they like lined up pretty nicely for the bombers.
Yeah, I came back later with Bombos. I'm like, you guys are just I'm just toasting y'all.
Yeah, and speaking of your deaths, Quizbowl, you did have a near misstep, but thankfully you got a fairy just before you fought the Lambo 2 Trinex.
Yes, yeah, I saw. I bunny beamed it, and I was like, okay, so I knew I could take that death because I just picked that up, and and of course I had a blue, but I was saving it for whatever the later ridiculous. Having a Helmasaur in the Moldorm 2 arena is also pretty rough. So, yeah, I think I ended with just like a few hearts coming out of Aga 2, and I'm like, I'm potioning. I'm grabbing some potions. I mirrored back and I grabbed some potions because it's like I only had 12 hearts. I finished the seed on 12 hearts, blue mail, and those bats do 3 hearts each. So I chugged them, and I had no capes, none of that. So
yeah, I'm currently sitting on 16 hearts and red mail and gold sword. So.
Very low
percent. Cleared a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quizbowl, thank goodness you found the silver arrows in GT, because
Yeah.
that would have been a really brutal fight for you on Ganon.
Yeah, that would have been a slog. I probably could have pulled it off. You just need to get into a groove at that point. But it's like, I was looking for anything to do that. If I had found them in Dark Magician's Realm, I might have continued around a rando room or something, looking for stuff. But I guess, well, I know where the other 2 swords are, so I wouldn't have found anything. So.
Well, any final thoughts about the seed before we wrap things up here?
Nope. I mean, Undervisor is just it's certainly one of the modes of all time. So, well, thank you, DSpags, for the race. GG's again. Thank you, Wolflink, for commentating and holding down the Ream stream. It's always fun to be part of these.
Yeah, second all of that and GG's quiz. I look forward to our rematch next week.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Got it on the calendar, so we'll be ready for that.
Well, folks, if you want to see some more racing action here, started about 20 minutes ago over on SpeedGaming 3. We have a Group Z match, all dungeons tile swap, Gamachu versus Raja happening over there. Here. And if you are a Night Owl, we've got a special treat for you tonight. We have a match at 3:30 in the morning on SpeedGaming. It is another for 80 tile swap at Group P, Jack K versus Schinschwart. I hope I pronounced that right. It's probably German. That'll be happening. And then if you can't stay up that late, our next earliest match will be at 11:30 on SpeedGaming 2. That'll be Kabuki. It's Me, Race Films versus Top Life. And then at SpeedGaming, we'll have a Cross Keys match, Scottish Brave versus Tizu at noon. And then we have more matches across the day. So, folks, make sure to follow our 2 runners here for putting on an excellent race for us tonight. This could have gone either way here, honestly. It was just one decision. And honestly, I don't blame you. I probably would have made that same mistake.
Yeah, Atomizer I don't play very often, so it completely slipped my mind that that's what I was doing. So
yeah,
hey.
I don't play much either. I don't blame you whatsoever.
It's the fun aspect of the multiple modes, though. So a good call on Quizbowl's part to pick Atomizer for game 1. So worked out for you.
You vetoed my favorite casual boots. So.
Yeah,
Folks, make sure to
for
follow
good
these 2
reason.
runners.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow these 2 runners here, and make sure to also follow all the SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2 through 6, so you don't miss any racing action, not just the Link to Pass Randomizer tournament. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for us here. So for all of us here at Link to Pass Randomizer, I have been Wolflink0370. We just see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.